Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. You're watching Seeing the Unseen with Christopher LaPrath. My name's Kenan, his son and the producer of the show. Tonight, the title is Tardis, which there was some dispute as to whether it was going to be time and relative dimension in space, which is what Tardis stands for, or just plain Tardis, which is what it is now. Now, I've got a thought to share on that, but first, for anyone who's out there, thank you so much for joining us, and be sure to say something in the chat so I know you're here. If it's your first time viewing, there's no charge for readings, and going forward after that, it's $10 per card, or you can pay $100 and cover the entire month. So that's a pretty sweet deal there. Now, on the subject of TARDIS, I don't have much to say other than we're all time traveling. We all have our own TARDIS, in a sense. Our mind is capable of going anywhere at any given point in time. We can decide to imagine, a happy reality, a happy outcome for ourselves, or a miserable one. It's up to us. And that's moment to moment. We get to make that choice, and every choice brings us up or down. So enjoy the ride out there. Thanks for listening to me, and here's Christopher. Enjoy the show.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. JC, thank you for the first time being here. We always start the show with a blessing, with a lighting of the incense, which really has to do tonight with being in alignment with who you truly are and being in alignment with the oneness of life. It is an incredible privilege to be here in this reality. And I wanted to tell you to start off with, we spent the weekend in Palm Springs, California. There was a convention there called Contact in the Desert. So it was one of the foremost authorities in the world on UFOs gather there. You're able to hear speakers. There are people that have booths or have displays, a lot of activities. And so Kenan and I had a booth there. We got to meet some really extraordinary people. And we actually went there. The main purpose was to meet up with friends that were mainly from California. So it worked out really amazing. But this theme tonight, TARDIS, it comes from Doctor Who, which is a television show. How old is Doctor Who? Like 40,
65.
50 years old? I don't know, a long time. It's an old British show with this Doctor Who travels through time in a TARDIS. And it's a shape of a telephone booth, old British police box, actually. A blue British police box. And it looks, on the outside, it looks just the size of a phone booth. But on the inside, it's huge. So it stands for time and relative dimension in space, TARDIS, which I think is very, well, I'll explain this in a minute. Sunday night, the last night of the show, my friend Michael Mazzola, he's a producer. He made pretty much all of Stephen Greer's movies. He did what they call a CE5 event. So there were about 200 people there that attended. And it was out back in a very dark part of the hotel in the yard. And a beautiful lawn. And what they do, a CE5 is, maybe you've seen the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Well, this is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. And there's a belief out there that when you meditate on love, you can call these beings telepathically in to your gathering. So I'd actually never been to one. Kenan had never been to one. But I will tell you, it works. It was really, really incredible. So it really made me understand that we really don't understand anything at all. We saw ships of all kinds. It was inexplicable. I can't really even tell you, but it was a very, very high level spiritual experience. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this Tardis tonight, and that time is really relative. That the past is not fixed. People think, oh, the past is fixed. But let me explain this. Let's say you and Marilyn and Abby, you're both on, and you're remembering 10 years ago. You're remembering an event. You could remember the event completely differently, right? Two completely different viewpoints on what actually happened at the event you were attending or what the person said. And so there can be uncertainty about that. Well, that's what Stephen Hawking, the great physicist, said. He said, the world we perceive is created by us. And so he uses the experience of it hasn't really happened until you actually perceive it. So you could be digging a hole in your backyard and come across this big boulder, and it'll be from the Ice Age. Well, if you hadn't dug out the boulder, you wouldn't have found evidence of the Ice Age. So your present even affects the past. Hope that makes sense. So I've talked about this on the show. When you have a dream, maybe it's a nightmare, if you wake up, stay in bed, close your eyes, recall the nightmare, then go back in and change it. Change what happened in that nightmare from a few minutes before. I've done that before and I've never had the nightmare again. Well, this reality is a dream as much as your dreams at night are. You can go back and even remember an event and then not have an emotional charge around it anymore. So the Stephen Hawking, he said, the past is assumed to exist as a definite series of events. But according to quantum physics, the past, like the future, it's indefinite and exists only as a spectrum of possibilities. So it's an interesting concept that what is happening now happens with us, also changes the past. And that's why the benefit of really working on yourself and changing how you're thinking about what is happening to you now also changes the past. And that goes into our group card tonight. So welcome Marilyn, Austin, Lindsay, Abby, Marilyn, JC, and Fleet. And because we missed on Sunday and Monday, I'm going to go ahead and, for those of you that subscribe for $100 a month, I'll definitely pull a couple of cards for you tonight, or do a little bit longer reading for you tonight to cover one of the nights. And then Sunday night, we'll do the same thing again. So the group card. It's called the Divine Matrix. How everything is entangled. And I love this word. It's called God incidences. Instead of coincidences, God incidences. I'm going to start using that instead of coincidences because I like it so much. It's like God incidences. It's these serendipitous events that really come out of nowhere. And it's the interconnectedness. So the point of this card, refer to some notes here. It's basically, it comes up when you're in line, when you are in alignment with the oneness of life. And it's really expressing that you are greatness expressing itself. You are greatness expressing itself. And there's a process to it for you, for all of us, to be able to understand that we're interconnected with everything and everyone. And we may not understand the process until sometimes we're through it, and then we get the aha. But we may not understand as we're going through the process. So this is about letting go, trusting that the universe has everything to your best and highest. Okay, here we go. So what I do, for those of you that are new on the show, do we have anyone else on Facebook that's new?
Not yet.
Okay. So let me remind you, we don't know you're here unless you say hi, hello, something in the chat, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook or Twitch. I won't know, I won't be able to do a reading for you unless you say something, because otherwise we don't know that you're watching. Okay, my dear Marilyn Pitts, South Carolina representing North Carolina. And then what I do, for those of you that are new, I shuffle through the deck, and whatever card falls out, that's the card that's really chosen by your higher self. So Marilyn, when you're making major spiritual progress, like you have been, notice the energy of the people that call, or the people that you run into, and what they say. Understand that we live in a dynamic universe, and everyone can feel. They won't necessarily understand a spiritual progress that's being made, but they sometimes react to it. And they may not even know you. It could be somebody at a checkout line. But to say something that is mean or derogatory, to try to bring you back down to their level. Because as you progress spiritually, as you reach these higher levels of understanding, like the group card tonight, Marilyn, with the interconnectedness and the spontaneousness of life, and you start tuning into them, there are these voices, and they could be from literal people, but it also can be from your past. So if you have a voice come up from your past, maybe your father, relative, change it. Just like you would in a dream, and take that as a win. If somebody says something derogatory to you, take that as a win and go, oh, they're sensing I'm up here. Rather than, what right do they have to try to drag me down? Remember, we talked about contracting your energy. This is about expanding your energy. And you can use that to go, oh, I must be making progress here, because they're wanting to bring me back down. And not play into it, unless you really want to. But not sure why you would do that, but you know what I mean, Marilyn? So that's one of the brilliant aspects of this owl card. And an owl, like, you won't see it coming. Like, you'll be having a great day, and then somebody can come in and do their best to bring you down. That, and I kind of get that that's happened in the past couple of days, but you just go, nope, not going to be there. Not going to hear it. Return to sender. But it's also a sign that you're making major spiritual progress. Okay. And then, Marilyn, you've got the Feast of Plenty. So I do get, again, I think this came up in your other reading about a dream catcher, and maybe doing a little research on dream catchers. And you're a great quilt person, so you might want to consider making your own dream catcher. But they're said to catch bad energy. They're said to catch negative aspects and to safeguard your dreams. I would really encourage you to do that with Larry. And then know that the choices you've made and the choices you make are the best choices you can make with the information you have. So be free of stating that you made bad choices in the past. No, those were only the best choices you knew how to make at the time. So again, when you set, so there is no past, present, or future. I was going to find this. Okay, this is what, again, talking about Stephen Hawking. The past, present, and future are entangled, and the decisions you make now influences events in the past, of course, in the future. Everything's entangled. So even how you talk about the past can affect the future and can affect the present. So this is more blessings, more ahas, more understanding coming your way. Okay. All right, Austin. Oh, Kat and Jared are good. Awesome. Okay. So, Austin, you've seen movies, right, where, or you've been in church or read articles where when someone passes away, they're supposed to go to the light. And if they don't get there in time, oh my God, no, it's not about that. But I want to use this as a metaphor because there are doors of opportunity that open up to us right now on the planet while we're here on that planet. And it's like a door of opportunity or a white light, it's passing through to another way of being. And this is really investing now your time and money on improving you. I know some of the best teachers in the world have a counselor. They actually go to someone and a coach, a life coach, whatever you want to call it. That's what I would highly recommend that right now for you. Because it will help you keep going through doors, making major spiritual progression. Because when people, and I'm not saying this about you, but I'm saying this for the group and to help you help other people, perhaps, when people think that they've made it, they're in their ego and I'm really good. I could talk, pretty much everybody on the show can verify this and vouch for this, is when you meet somebody that's in that ego, it just set them up for a crash and fall. I mean, then there's nothing more that they can be taught, nothing more that they can learn when they set themselves up for that. So this is called the crossing. It's an initiation. It's opportunities coming up for you. Have the courage to step through them. Have the courage to listen to criticism or feedback. Because if we don't, then we don't grow.
He says he feels a difference. The doors are open for him.
That's great. Okay, great, Austin. I love hearing that. Thank you. Okay, Lindsay, here we go. So this is time to replenish. You know, Lindsay, you might want to Google near you if there's a labyrinth. You need a labyrinth. It's walking a labyrinth. And it's a meditative, I'm not going to get into it a lot of detail, but you can look up the meaning of labyrinth. And I would recommend everyone Google the nearest labyrinth near you. You can actually, if you have a yard, you can make your own labyrinth. It's like a meditative walk. And it will help you release in just being in a meditative, prayerful state, Lindsay. You're going to change your past, especially between 12 and 16, that age of 12 and 16. And how you view the past. And then you need a good you need some. It would be really great for you to. I get Bahamas. I'm getting Bahamas. They're making me say, well, I'm not, they're not making me say anything, but I'm getting major Bahama trip, or going to the Bahamas, or something with the Bahamas. Oh my God, you've been walking in a spiral in your yard in the mornings. Oh, Lindsay, you're the best. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening here. And when in doing that, if you walk in one way, walk back out the other way, that walking back out is the release, a major release of and changing the past and how you view the past, and majorly changing the present for you. Great job. Okay, my dear Abby and Marilyn. Okay. So, Abby, this is called overflow. Overwhelm and plenty. there's more coming to you. There's more coming with you or for you. There's greater blessings opening up for you. But also, I saw you guys were camping. I don't know if you're still camping. So what I get here, Abby, is that you're feeling, you're sensing is going to increase. It's kind of like turning up the volume on your sensitivity, especially when it comes to like I told you, right? I've shared with you about me not able to go to hospitals or funeral homes or that type of cemeteries, just because of the for me, you know how like one drink can make people drunk. One headstone does that for me. I mean, I just get like, it's too much. My point is, Abby, your sensitivity is going to be increasing, so just be aware, honor your feelings, like notice them. It's not your imagination.
We are still camping.
Oh, good. You're still camping? So the woods is a great place to not test that, but try it. Trees have different personalities. You can feel maybe where a coyote killed a squirrel. And it's not your imagination. Like, allow this training. I really get that you're in the middle of a training. And then your second card here, Abby, is this treasures hidden in the shadows. Even in the worst or the most challenging of situations, there's something to be gained. You know, so we went to this event Sunday night. We went to the CE5 event. There were 200 people there, and I was laying in the grass. This girl kind of kept kicking me accidentally. Like, I don't think she was doing it on purpose. But there were a lot of people. We were laying in the grass. So, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to make the best of this situation. And I really focused my energy on what was happening around me and up in the sky. And it really paid off. So when people come at you, Abby, and they're like angry or upset, and I was talking about Marilyn Pitts about this too earlier in the show, that use that is the same as I did with Marilyn. Use that as a gauge to go, oh, they're sensing I've come this far. Anyway, your senses are going to be increasing. Stop questioning them. Stop it. Or doubting them. That's better. That's the word I want. Just be free of doubting them. And then, Marilyn, my dear, transmuting pain, moving the pain out. Any discomfort, you're move it out. I think I told you, Marilyn, about a friend of mine who had a toothache in Bali, no dentists around, and he laid there on his bed and he was in a lot of pain. And he very quietly created a duplicate in his head. This is the Tardis, time and relative dimension in space. He created a version of himself in his mind laying next to him in the bed with no toothache. And then he rolled over into that body that he created in his head, and instantly the toothache went away. And when he got back to the States, there was no problem with the tooth. There's no decay, nothing. So anywhere where you have taken on any pain for others, are you willing to release, clear, destroy, and uncreate that? And then try that exercise with any pain you may be having, of just fully creating a body, and then a version of you, and then rolling over in it. And then Marilyn, do some booklets. As a kid, I used to love like going to church and getting these little pamphlets. They were only about this big, and it was great for a kid to read. Right? It was pretty easy, right to the point, had some very uplifting things to say. I want you to start looking at that and considering doing that, because you have a tremendous amount of experiences to draw from. And yes, those are valuable, and they will be valuable. They're valuable now. They're going to be valuable in the future and in the past. Okay. JC, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. So JC, bold step forward. Without asking Mother, may I take a bold step forward? And anywhere in the past where your mother, and it may be just motherly, just mothers fearing for their child, but then they become overprotective. This is not asking anyone's permission. Make that move. Move forward. And do it boldly. No, release, clear, destroy, and uncreate all fear around this decision about moving forward, no matter what anyone else thinks. If it feels good to you, that's the most important thing. It's the most important step for you. And you can message me on Facebook if you have any questions. Hey Fleet, thanks for being here. Not sure if I can call you Prince or Fleet, but I'll call you Fleet, because that's what he put, right? Okay, good. Thanks for being here, Fleet. Intentionality. So Sylvester Stallone, when he wrote Rocky, he also wanted to direct it or produce it, and the studios wouldn't let him because he was basically an unknown. But that was the deal. He had an intention. You also have, I want you to look up the metaphysical or the spiritual meaning of honeybee and what that means. I don't know if you have been having bees around you. There's something profound with that. But also, are you able to be a little bit more intentional about what it is you want and how you want it to be? And then you've got the blessings of the bees. I'm not sure what that is, but it's quite profound. Okay, Kat, Jared. So, Kat, we've talked about this. You are way more productive when you are during your rest. Like, it's not so much resting and then being prepared to go again. It's like you're moving into like this period of just rest, resting your mind. And there's something with lilacs and clematis. Clematis. I don't know flowers very well, but if you could look up the meaning of lilacs, Kat, what's that? Kat, if you look up the meaning of lilacs and clematis, I think is the name of the flower. It's like a vine. And then focus your energy, Kat, on what it is you want. So in other words, if you want the yard landscaped, focus on that, not how much it's going to cost. Focus on having an abundant amount of money on what it is you want. And then the money will be there, rather than worrying about not having enough money to fix the yard or to re-landscape it. But the yard is really important for you. You've got to be out in it more. Set your intention, because money is really, when people go, well, I just want more money, that's really too kind of abstract. You've got to think about what it is you want to do with the money. What is it? How do you want to feel? Where do you want to go? What do you want to have? And focus on that feeling and then create it. Then the money appears. Okay. Great. Got one more here for you, Kat. Okay. Well, you want something specific. Okay. Hang on, I got another deck. Sometimes when people's energies change, I can tell, especially when a card's not falling out, your system's like wanting another message from another deck. So, went and got another deck for you, Kat. So, are you willing to easily and comfortably let go easily and comfortably let go of how you thought life would be, or how you hoped life would be when you were a kid, how you dreamed of how life would be. Let go of that. And when you do, there is some sorrow around that. But you're needing to let go of it to create greater dreams. Something better, something bigger, something that you're not seeing. Oh, okay. And Kat, anywhere, so your mother was the first woman in your life who was really a model, you know, for you as when you grew up to be a woman. So you observed her as a child, you watched her, and anywhere where you picked up sorrow that she was feeling or into, are you willing to let go of that? And know that that was her learning of life, and it doesn't have to be yours. It has nothing to do with you. But I feel like that's coming up to come out. This is generational. No, this is even going back further to Kat than your mom. This is like generational. Any sorrow from your lineage that you know was to put upon you like a mantle, like a cloak, are you willing to take that off and burn it with gasoline? Okay. All right, Jared. Okay, we got Jared. Okay, here we go, Jared. Teresa is on. Okay, hey Tiffany, we'll get you. So we got Tiffany and Teresa. All right. Again, so Jared. So with Kat, maybe it was like, what it would be like to have this fantastic backyard, landscaped, be able to have somebody come in and pay for it, do it. This is you having, like, hiring a handyman, a maid, like actually being able to hire help to come in to do the cleaning of the house and laundry. Focus on the feeling of that, Jared. It's the feeling that you want. And determination. It's like, this is what's going to happen. This is what I'm going to get. Yeah, because you've got the netcaster. This is where preparations are coming to fruition. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. But build bigger. Think bigger. Focus on how you want to feel if you had a maid and a fix-it man, and Kat, you had this incredible yard, lots of flowers, garden, all of that, and the time to be able to spend in those places. That's what's coming your way for both of you. All right, my dear Tiffany. Oh, you're gonna be. I'm gonna get a different deck. Oh, there we go. So Tiffany, so you've got inner voice and you've got politics. You know, you nod and you smile. You go, you know, that's just, oh my gosh, that's just not my policy. And you never have to say no. Oh, you know, let me give that some consideration. I hear what you're saying, let me give that some consideration. That is a good way of honoring your inner voice without bluntly saying no. Sometimes you do have to say no, but this is a way to put it. Like, people can't argue with policy. Well, that's just not my policy. And it kind of spreads it out rather than just saying no. They can't argue with policy. So this is stepping up and not allowing people to step across your boundaries. It's really important. There's something fun coming up for on the 4th of July for you, like a party, a fiesta, something fun, especially with the kids, to create these great memories. It almost feels like a family reunion, that type of thing around the time of July. So even like a quick escape to Rocky Point, Tiffany, would be really good for you. Okay. All right, my dear Teresa. Okay, Teresa. San Antonio representing. Yeah. You are definitely, Teresa, you are definitely on the right path. This adventure you're moving on to it's going to help a lot of children. In fact, it already is. Just you're in your power, you're creating it, and it's already affecting the future. So it's opening doors for mothers to help their children. What a beautiful card. It's a really beautiful card. But I would really suggest going on a short, well, not a short vacation, but a vacation, because I think you're going on a cruise in August again. I don't know. There's a lake. It's some kind of vacation around a lake. Just a short one. It could be just a weekend. But you are very creative when you have downtime. But there's something around a lake coming up where you could be more creative. But it's important to kind of get you out of the house. Okay, do we have everybody? Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being patient with me. I love you all. Let's do this again Sunday night. Talk soon.